Receipt books provide good insight into the use of cooking in history, and the Wangensteen Library is home to a large collection of them with topics ranging from medicinal uses to baking. The recipe used for this episode of the Great Wangensteen Bake-Off comes from an English recipe manuscript. These books give an idea of the recipes used during different time periods, but they often lack certain essential pieces of information, such as baking temperatures, cook time, and tools used, adding to the drama of today's episode. What is sack and what is the correct substitute? Should these be baked in muffin tins or a bundt pan? For how long and at what temperature should these cakes be baked? These questions will all be answered on today's episode.
So today, on the Great Wangensteen Bake-Off, we will be making Portugal cakes. This is a recipe from 1820 that we found in one of the manuscripts here in Wangensteen, and I'm joined with Sarah and Emily, who will both be making. Emily would do a variation on this by using almond instead of whole wheat. Sarah felt that it was important to stick to the recipe, but Emily thought that almond would add a bit of spark to it. There's also a difference in what they will be using for sack. Sack was a wine similar to sherry that was produced around Portugal, Spain during this time frame. Sherry is a descendant or a version of sack today, but Sarah will be using sherry and Emily will be using port because she feels that adding a bit of sweetness to the cake will help improve it. Any questions, bakers?
No. Really it on me and I'm using my hands because this is not
pretty wet to go there.
It's very wet. When I add in all the eggs,
Yes.
it's going to be extremely wet.
So tell me a little about your experience. I mean, how do you think your cake is going to turn out? What are you concerned about?
I think right now the thing I'm most concerned about, I filled my bundt pan up a little bit more than half. I'm worried if it rises up, it'll go over the top. Also, the timing is of concern because it's not written in the recipe how long this needed to bake for. So it'll be interesting to see how long it actually takes for it to turn out. Because it's very possible that they made it, like Emily made it in a smaller fashion, whereas I made it in a full cake pan. I made that decision because I wanted to make the cake much more dense. I'd heard about problems with the currant sinking down to the bottom, so I wanted to make sure that it stayed all incorporated. So with each slice of the bundt cake you'd get kind of an even amount of currants.
I'm worried about the temperature because it also doesn't say what temperature it's baked at, which makes sense because they wouldn't have probably put thermometers or had as much control over the baking temperature. So we're both kind of guessing somewhere around 375 to 350, but we'll see.
Emily's with the almond flour here. It's a nice color, a little dimpled in the middle here. Heavy. Cut it open. Very moist on the inside, so almonds seem to have clustered to one end. delicious, good almond flavor, nice and sweet. I'm wondering if this could have been done a little bit more on the inside. We have Sarah's here, much lighter in color, feels lighter. You can see the currants on the top, a little bit of cracking with that. And definitely taste the egg and that you didn't use as many egg whites. I would say this has more of a big flavor, but overall I like the taste of Emily's. I like her crust. It's very sweet and the currants work well. Sarah's yours is delicious as well. I like the richness with the yolks in there. I don't know if a few more minutes would have given it a nicer crust on the top, but they're both delicious. Thank you.